In this week's video, we stay at a little campsite on the edge of Loch Long, surrounded by more of Scotland's stupendous mountains. We take a stroll into the village of Arrochar and sample some hospitality at a pub with a view, before Fudge and I take an afternoon stroll into the mountains. But first, welcome to our channel. I'm Kath, this is Sue. We're enjoying our retirement, travelling with our two dogs Archie and Fudge, whilst living full-time in our motorhome. Recently, Sue competed in the Great North Run, whilst I've been making the most of rivers for swims and hills for walks, so why not come and join us? Well, good morning. We're at a new spot at the end of Loch Long, and we've woken up to a nice sunny day, but it's cold. And tomorrow apparently there's a storm rolling in, so we've got a couple of nights at the site that we're at the moment. It's not the best, it's a bit noisy because it's next to quite a busy road. All around us you can see there's lots of kind of hills and hopefully lots of footpaths and running routes for Sue, but we'll find out in the next day or so. Well, as you can see, this is the campsite. It's called Glen Loin House Campsite, and it's right on the edge of an A road. You can see there's a busy road, so it's not ideal for us in terms of, you know, peace and quiet, but there are some really good trails in the kind of peaks and woodland just around the edges. So I'm really hoping that Sue's found a good run this morning, and Fudge and I will be able to have a nice walk this afternoon. One of the great features of this site is this here it's a garage, a petrol station, but there's a little shop with it as well. From what I can see, they sell bacon butties. Now I'm going to make my own this morning, but there's a storm due tomorrow, and if it's pouring down with rain, I could very well be tempted. Other features of this campsite: it has got a toilet block, it's got electric hookup, although it's only 6 amps, so that's worth bearing in mind. It's also quite pricey, I think, for what it is this time of year. £20 a night. I think they could probably knock a £5 off that. Otherwise, we're only here for a few days. We'll base ourselves here, we'll get some good walks in, and hopefully we'll have a peaceful, noise permitting few days.
You're gonna have to go on your lead. Archie? Archie!
Oh, Archie's getting into trouble. He wasn't stopping. Anyway, Sue and I have decided to have a little walk into the village. It literally is about 200 yards from the site, all positioned at the southern end of Loch Long. Loch Long. It's only a tiny little village. We did I spotted a fish and chip shop on the way in yesterday. But we're just going to have a little mooch around the village because the weather is still reasonably good at the moment, and we know there's a storm due tomorrow, so we might not get the opportunity again. So I've been walking for about 2 minutes, and we've come to the village tea room. Now, I've deliberately not said the name, and that's just because I know I'm going to get it wrong. Is it Arrochar? Is it Arrochar? If you know, let us know. I saw a sign for Ben Arthur's Bothy, and in my mind I had a little hut for weary travellers. Turns out it's a pub, and it seems we've reached the centre of town, the metropolis of Arrochar. Let me show you. I don't know if you could see it because of the light, but it looks like there's a village store which doors up as a post office. and there's a Be Thankful, a Rest and Be Thankful restaurant. That is pretty much it. Pretty cute though. So I absolutely love that. Newsagents, confectionery, and you can also buy your fishing tackle. How cool is that? So we've come into the village, and as you can see there is not much to this village. But what I'm really interested to know is, why did we gravitate towards a pub, Sue? Is that your doing or Archie?
It was Archie's doing.
Archie, it always gravitates to a pub. He's either very, very well trained or he's just an alcoholic. Anyway, I think we'll treat ourselves to a pint while we're here, because the view is just to die for. And because you're a little bit further away from the road here as well, it's just a little bit nicer. Fancy a drink? Cheers. Here's to the view. All I need to do is work out whether those white dots up there are sheep or whether they're just bits of rock. Not white dots. Well, you've probably guessed it. Fudge and I are off on one of our afternoon strolls. Sue's staying with the old man back at the ranch. They'll have a little stroll, and we're going to go and explore this luscious countryside that's surrounding us on 3 sides, not 4, because the loch is on the 4th side. Whew. Well, up to this point it's been all uphill and actually quite steep, but we've just got to a bit, there's a bench, and I feel like I've earned my little rest, and then we're on to a forest track which looks like vehicles come along here. It's just a gravel track, but Fudge and I are going to take a little moment here and then set off along the track. Well, it turns out this is a very popular route. I have passed loads of people. They're all coming down, nobody else going up. And one guy said to me, it's a long way to go yet. Of course, I'm not going to the top, but I think everyone who is coming down has obviously been to the top, and they're all getting down towards the end of the day. It's about 3 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. So I guess they probably set off quite early this morning. Summited, whatever it is, Beinn Narnain. I'm going to call it Narnia. It's not, but I'll call it Narnia. So they summited Beinn Narnain, and they're just coming down now at the end of the day, just as Fudge and I are heading up. Anyway, we definitely won't do Beinn Narnain. I've looked on the map, it's a long way and we don't have time. All the legs, all the kit with us, water, food, anything, you know, the bits and bobs we would need if we were going out for a bit longer. But in the meantime, we'll just enjoy this. Fudge is plodding behind me at the moment. She's been told off because right at the start, just the other side of the road, somebody had left a half-eaten carton of cheesy chips. And if anyone's going to sniff out cheesy chips, it's going to be a Labrador. So Fudge had her nose in there. I dragged her out. We set off. We must have gone 200 metres, all uphill, and all of a sudden her brain kicked into, oh, there's cheesy chips left. She absolutely legged it back down. Much quicker than I could leg it back down. I tried, but by the time I got there, she'd eaten them. And what worries me is, well, fortunately, Fudge is going to be with us, so if it does make her ill, then we can always get to the vets. But if that was a wild animal, you don't know what's going to happen. It's so inconsiderate. By the way, I haven't changed my outfit, just take my coat off. Oh, it's too hot. So we've reached the top of the woodland. And I don't know if you can see, oh, there, those like jaggedy rocks. It looks like we've emerged into the kingdom of Narnia. I don't know why I keep saying that. But it's just the landscape all around. I so wish I was actually carrying on and getting up to the top of whatever Beinn it is. But I've been told it's a long way, and we've just not got enough time. We're going to have to call time on this walk now and start heading back. So I'm going to put the camera away for the journey back down so I can get both poles, take a bit of pressure off my ankles in particular. But all around me, such spectacular scenery. I changed my mind and decided to come just a little bit further. And that's because when I looked at the map and where we were, I thought I could see a dam. And sure enough, there is. Some little gentle waterfalls behind me. Looks like I'm standing in the middle of the river, and I kind of am, but it's shallow. I'm not even up to me, not even over the soles of my boots. Have a look at this. I'm halfway up a mountain, and there's a little dam, and this little, well, you'd have to call it a reservoir, wouldn't you? It's not very big. I guess it controls the flow of water down into the valley below. Don't know why. If you know this area at all, let me know. All I can say is it's absolutely gorgeous. The whole area. It's so lovely to keep finding these absolutely delicious little spots. I have to say, it's been a busy little walk, this one, but I still feel like I'm here all by myself. The sun's starting to dip down now. I think it's going to get a bit colder, so I will definitely put the camera away this time, and Fudge and I will set off and head back to the shack. Well, we're almost back at camp, just over that corner of the loch. You can see the garage, and of course we're camped just behind that. So I'm going to take a final little rest before I head off for the last, I don't know, what would you say, 400 metres. It won't be a sprint. Well, good morning everyone. Now today we have a move on day, and it just so happens, we haven't timed it particularly well, because it just so happens that it corresponds to the storm that's coming in at the moment. We can't remember the name of it, but it begins with a B. So we've just been doing the last few bits of packing up. Sue's locking everything down at the moment, and then we're heading off back to the Troon area. It's about an hour and a half away, if all goes to plan. We're very conscious we'll be going very, very slowly today. We are not travelling in the where any of the main weather warnings are. We wouldn't, if we did, we'd just have to hunker down. But Sue has an appointment today, so we do need to get back for that. So we're going to be going very, very slowly, hopefully completely uneventful, but we're prepared just in case. Keep your fingers crossed for us. Well, just a little update. The journey's actually been completely uneventful. The storm, although it's raining quite heavily and it's been a bit blustery and windy, no problems with the traffic, no problem with the road, and we're nearly there. So I'm pretty confident we'll be back safely very soon.